Good morning and welcome to week 5 of our breathing techniques. Today I'm going to talk about our nervous system, our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. But I'll start off with kind of what the nervous system is and sort of things like that. So here's my lovely books, my human body book. And that is our nervous system. And you can see that everything comes from the brain, it goes down the spine and it centres off. And you have your two main ones. So you've got your central nervous system, which is to do with the brain and the spinal cord. And then you've got your peripheral nervous systems, which are all these that go around the body and they bring messages back to the central nervous system. Then we have the peripheral nervous system is split up into 3 different categories. So you have your motor skills, which tell you to bend your arms, to pick something up, so they're voluntary. Then you have your sensory nervous system, which is to do with your touch, your smell, senses, things like that. So that's your other ones. And then you've got your third one, which is your automatic nervous system, which is then just closed off into 2 different sections, which is your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. So I'm going to just go through the difference between your sympathetic nervous system. Now your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight. So this raises your hormones and gets you ready to kind of put you in a stress kind of position. It goes back to when we were worrying about saber-toothed tigers and things like that. So we'd have to really get ourselves ready. So what the sympathetic nervous system does, your fight or flight, it dilutes your pupils, makes them smaller. It dilutes the airway, so it constricts, so it makes breathing a little bit harder. It increases your heart rate, starts it beating really fast. It increases your glucose production, so it puts a lot of sugar into your blood, which can raise and cause diabetes, raise your diabetes. So if you're constantly in a state of fight and flight, then you find that you may start to get diabetes because your sugar levels will start to lift. It inhibits your digestion system, so you don't want to eat because you're so tense, your stomach's so knotty that you can't eat. It slows down your urine output, so again you don't want to go to the toilet, you hold everything inside, which is never good. It's a byproduct, you need to get it out. But it also tends to relax the bladder, so it can, even though you're holding everything in the kidneys, you're not actually letting the wee, you're kind of like relax your bladder, so you may wee yourself. And it constricts blood vessels, so it makes the heart have to work harder to get the blood all the way through. So that is our stress, that's our sympathetic nervous system. Now our parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest. So this is where everything kind of slows down. So it constricts the pupils, it helps the pupils to open back up, which allows more lighting things into the brain. It opens up the airways so that we can breathe a little bit better. It slows our heart rate down, which then helps the blood move slowly. It then dilutes the blood vessels so that the blood can flow through nice and easily. It stimulates our digestion, so it helps to get rid of all the rubbish that we're holding in our stomach. It relaxes our stomach muscles. It relaxes our kidneys, which then helps us, if we want to let go of our wee. But we can also hold our bladder in at the same time because we don't have to let go. But it aids proper functions throughout the body. Now, as we inhale, we actually stop a little bit of blood going through the body, and so we increase our sympathetic nervous system slightly for a little bit. As we breathe out, this increases our parasympathetic nervous system, so this helps us to relax. And this is why in a lot of yoga we try to get you to breathe out a lot longer than you breathe in to help to relieve it. And when you're doing you see anything to do with yoga, there'll be a lot, especially breathing, they'll talk a lot about your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. And so that hopefully just gives you a little brief example of what it is. So today we're going to do a one that I think is possibly, it's a really nice breathing exercise that helps me to relax personally. It's one of my favourites. But all breathing exercises are one size doesn't fit all. You have to find your perfect breathing exercise. So with this, we're going to do a circular breath, and we're going to do different kinds of breathing. So we're going to do square, rectangles, triangle breaths for the next couple of weeks. So just see how they feel. One of them will be fine for you, or maybe none of them will be fine for you. You'll have to just kind of work it yourself. Now, the first thing we've got to do is to find our dominant nostril. It sounds really mad, but we have one dominant nostril that we breathe up, one dominant nostril that we breathe down. A lot of things that I've read, a lot I've been told, is that your nostril, your dominant nostril changes. So today it might be my left, tomorrow it might be my right. I have only ever found that I'm right-handed, and it tends to be my dominant nostril is my left, and my breathing down nostril is my right. That's me. Everybody is different. So you may find that yours changes, or yours might stay the same. Everything, like I said, just check yourself. Make sure it's about you. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm doing. It's about what you're doing. So you're going to breathe down first. Then you're going to sort of close your eyes and have a think as you breathe in through the nose. Is one of them more dominant than the other as you breathe in? As you breathe out, see which one is dominant. So you'll be able to see which is either. Now, they may change if you've got a cold. So if you've got a cold, you may find that one nostril is blocked, so the other one will take over. That's the only time that I've kind of noticed that mine tend to change if I've got a cold. And I've just got over COVID, so which was just like a bad cold, thankfully. But yes, so you may notice a change if you've got a blocked nose. So again, mine tends to be the same way. So I'm going to start with my hands, and I'm going to use my fingers to block one nostril at a time. So I'm going to block with my thumb so that I can breathe up through the one nostril. Then I'll hold the air in. I'll take my thumb away and I'll breathe down that nostril. Then I'll hold the air out before I breathe back in, and I'll go round in a circle. Now you can hold the air, so you've got all this air in, and hold it here for as long as you feel possible. I'm going to just do 1 second. And the same when you breathe out, and you're holding the air out, just a little bit harder. I'm going to hold it for 1 second and then breathe in. You can make them seconds a little bit longer, but you don't want to feel any stress in the body. So you don't want to feel like you're holding it in and think, I've got to breathe in as soon as I let go. I want to get that air all in. You want to take your time, make sure everything comes in slowly, that you feel calm. You don't want to increase your sympathetic nervous system. You want to increase your parasympathetic nervous system. You want everything to slow down. And so everything has to be nice and calm. Now, I've used that position, and this kind of, if anything comes out of my nose, it's hidden behind my hand. That's my choice of my hand gesture. There are other gestures that you'll see people doing. And the other one that most people do that you'll see is this kind of, like a gun finger. And they use these two fingers and they place them just between their eyebrows, so their third eye. And then they use their finger and their thumb to do the same thing. It's completely up to you. Again, as you notice, it still hides your nose. So if you blow anything down, you can just kind of wipe it underneath. But yeah, it's completely up to you. Whichever one you choose is completely up to you. I just go nice and simple. But yeah, choose what you like. So we're going to do 5 minutes-ish. Because like I said, I do like this one, so I may go a little bit longer. But we're going to do 5 minutes of a circular breath. You don't have to count how long it takes to go in, how long it takes to go out. You just want to see if you can make your out breath a little bit longer than your in breath. And like I said, we're going to hold it with air in and air out of the body. And I want you to think about how you feel when you do that. So when you're holding the air in, how do you feel? When you're holding the air out, how do you feel? Does it make you panicky or relaxed? Or do you feel light? Do you feel warm? Do you feel cold? So all of these questions are the things that you want to ask yourself. And what they'll do, hopefully, is stop your brain going, okay? And that's what we don't want. We don't want our brain to us. We want to just relax the brain. So we're going to start with a breath out. So we're going to take our arms up and breathe in through both nostrils. And then breathe out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more. And our last one. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, take 5-10 minutes and do some breathing. It really does help to lower your stress hormones, your stress levels. And especially if you're feeling really kind of and everybody's phoning you and emailing you and you just feel like you're getting a bit like, oh, take a few minutes out, do a couple of these breathings. You will seriously notice a difference. So thank you both for joining me today. Thank you very much. And I will see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.